Hey, thanks for joining me today. Today, we're going to talk about a subject that's been on a lot of people's mind lately, and that's having a plan B for when society collapses. Now, I know you're thinking, Tom, are you really suggesting we should be preparing for the end of the world? Well, no, not exactly. But let's face it, with everything going on in the world right now, it's not crazy to think maybe you should have a backup plan, just in case. Now, I know there's a lot of different ways people can approach this whole plan B thing, right? Some people can go all out, stockpile guns, canned goods, building underground bunkers. And you know what? If that's your thing, go for it. Personally, I think it's a little extreme. I mean, sure, it's good to be prepared for emergencies, but if you're spending all your time and money on this kind of stuff, you're kind of missing out on the rest of life, right? Here's the thing. Even if you're not the type to go full-on survivalist, it's still, it's still practical to prepare for the worst. For example, maybe you can start a garden so you can have some fresh produce if the grocery store runs out of kale. Maybe invest in some solar panels or other sources of energy so you won't be completely in the dark if the power goes out. And of course, there's always an option of moving somewhere that's less likely to be affected by whatever disaster you're worried about. Maybe moving to a different state or even a different country. Look, I'm not saying it's easy or cheap to pick up and move your life somewhere else, but if you're genuinely concerned about the future of our society, it might be worth considering. Now, I know some people might be thinking, come on, Tom, world's not going to end anytime soon. And you know what? I hope you're right. The truth is, we're living in uncertain times, and it never hurts to be prepared. And let's face it, even if society doesn't collapse, having a backup plan can still be a good thing. Maybe you can decide to start your own business, take a year off, travel the world. Having a safety net in place can give you the confidence to maybe take risks and pursue your dreams. So, let's sum it up. Having a plan B for when society collapses might seem paranoid. There's nothing wrong with being prepared for the worst, and who knows, maybe you'll end up discovering some new passion or opportunity you never would have considered otherwise. My name's Tom Coffey. This is the Coffee and Nuance Show, the best censored commentary and news show live right now. Flame on. All right. Plan B. Do you have a plan B? It's something I've been thinking a lot about recently. Just what exactly are we doing with all of the bank crisis and the inflation that's happening? I was kind of at the epicenter of things a couple years ago here with all the protests and riots. It's got a little out of control in my neighborhood. But it is good to at least think about it. What can we do? Are there things that we can do to prepare? And I like the idea that if you feel more secure, if you feel more prepared, that might open up new opportunities for you because you feel prepared. Maybe you might try something new that you wouldn't do otherwise. So that's not a bad idea. What am I doing personally? Right now, not a whole lot. I think today I'll be chopping some wood. And it's like, I got a gas grill out back, so if the electricity goes out, at least I can cook something. Not much of a prepper myself, but just something I've been thinking about, and I just wanted to throw it out to y'all to think about. Also different places to store your wealth. Probably keeping it all in the bank might not seem like the best idea after this week. Maybe have some other options. Maybe put something in crypto or have some valuables or stock up on something that is going to retain its value? I don't know. Just an idea. I was trying to come up with something to talk about today, and it seemed appropriate to me, so I thought I'd kick it out there. But we got some interesting things that we are going to talk about today. France is on edge. Something just happened over there with their president, and I'll tell you about that. Things could get a little crazy over there. Also, but you don't need to worry about the banking system because Janet Yellen says everything is going to be all right. Bob Marley, right? Everything's going to be all right. There's a new insult for Gen Z. At least that's what the media is telling me. I don't know anybody that age, really, so I can't fact check it. But I'll tell you what that is. The rock band The Cure has been trying to have concerts and not go crazy on the pricing. And they've been having some real struggles with Ticketmaster. I'll tell you about that. And lastly, for some good news, there's a new hipster Bigfoot here in the Northwest that I want to tell you about. I think it's a lot of fun. So let's get to the first story. What's going on in France? Yeah, President. That's French president. Well, I just made up my own portmanteau. Right? French President Emmanuel Macron has passed a controversial proposal to raise the retirement age from 62 to 64 without a vote in Parliament, using a constitutional measure known as Article 49.3. The move has been met with opposition from the public, with recent polls indicating that about 2/3 of French people disapprove of this plan. The pension bill would now face a no-confidence vote in the National Assembly, which is expected to take place very soon. If the vote passes, it could bring down Macron's prime minister and cabinet, and the pension bill would be rejected. The decision to use Article 49.3 is seen as an undemocratic tool used by governments to strong-arm lawmakers and has led to protests and strikes in France. So I've been telling you about the strikes in France. Currently, I guess there's trash everywhere in Paris because there hasn't been any trash collection, and it's just been piling up on the side of the streets. So things are getting a little out of hand there. And the fact that the president couldn't get this through, and so he just used this special power to push this through to raise the retirement age on people in France is not being met with open arms, to say the least. And so having a no confidence vote in the president and his cabinet, wow, that can really just overturn everything in French politics. And it may show politicians that you can't push the people around all the time. You know, occasionally they will push back. And it is my projection, it's my prediction that this may be the end of Macron's term as president. I don't think the people of France are going to allow this to happen. I believe that strongly, and I don't think they're playing. So this could be the end of the presidency, his presidency in France. We'll have to see what happens in the next couple of days, but it's exciting times. But we don't have to worry about what's happening here in the U.S. because Janet Yellen has assured us otherwise. Let me get to that story. All right, U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has reassured Congress that the nation's banking system remains strong following the collapse of two banks and ongoing consumer jitters about the financial services sector. Yellen said that the government has taken decisive and forceful action to strengthen public confidence in the banking system after the failure of California bank Silicon Valley Bank, which has been taken over by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, FDIC. She added that deposit protection was provided by the Deposit Insurance Fund, which was funded by fees on banks, and that no taxpayer money was used or put at risk. Now, anytime I am ever assured that there have been no taxpayer fees associated with something, you can pretty much guarantee that taxpayer fees have been associated with it. Oh my goodness. But this is just a little bit of a shell game that she's playing here. She's saying, oh, no. All of the taxpayer money here is right here, and the money that we're using for this is actually this other pile of money here, which we got as fees from banks, which essentially came from taxpayers. But it's not the same thing, so don't worry about it. Nothing to see here. Everything is safe. We need confidence in all our banks. We certainly don't want a bank run. So I believe her, right? Everything is secure. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to see here. Don't take any money out of the bank, right? That's it. Wow. Have you ever watched Janet Yellen speak? I don't have a whole lot of confidence in her. I don't know. We project onto people, and I know that that's not fair. You know, just the way people look. I'm sure people look at me and they make assumptions about me and they project that onto me. I get it. We're all human. With Janet Yellen, when she talks, I just don't believe her. But I don't know. I probably don't believe many people in banking. Probably. Anyway, but what do you think? Do you think that this is all water under the bridge, nothing to worry about, and we're not going to have a run on any other banks in the U.S.? What's your prediction? Let me know in the comments. And let's get to something a little bit more fun. Okay. This Gen Z insult. This is this is fun. Oh, and Gen Z and young millennials are opting for a thumbs down gesture as a form of road rage instead of the middle finger, which they consider to be outdated. The younger generation believes that the thumbs down gesture has a more significant impact and is a more hurtful form of roadway retribution than flipping the bird. The gesture is seen as a universal emblem of censure on social media such as TikTok and text messaging apps. Nonverbal communication and body language expert Joe Navarro said the thumbs down gesture can be more effective in conveying negative feedback without being crass. Well, we wouldn't want to be crass, would we? So apparently this is more hurtful than the middle finger. And I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. I don't even believe this article. I think this is this may be something that some people put on TikTok to get some views. You know, when you're constantly having to come up with new content, you try new things, and obviously saying, "Oh, this is the new middle finger," you know, might drive some clicks. I don't buy it, but I don't know. I'm not talking to a whole lot of Gen Z people. If you're in Gen Z watching this show, I don't know, maybe one or two people, let me know. Is this really bad? It's kind of like it shows disappointment. You know, it's not like a, hey, F you. It's like, I'm disappointed in you. You cut me off in traffic. Boo. This is probably safer. You're probably not going to get pulled out of your car and beaten if you do a thumbs down as opposed to flipping someone the bird. You got to be real careful with road rage. The middle finger is very threatening. Now, I came up with a solution for this, and I'm going to share it with you. So for me, when I'm driving, the solution that I came up with was most of the time I will not flip anyone off. It just adds to more tension in the world. It adds to more negativity. We don't want to do that, but sometimes you just want to get that anger out. And so what I developed is, you got your hand here. You take your hand here, which is going to be your flip-off hand, and you just lower it to underneath the dash. It's the under the dash flip. So you can flip your finger under the dash. Nobody sees it. You're able to get out that emotion of being frustrated or angry, but you're not threatening other people. So that's my solution. The Gen Z solution is, ooh, you disappointed me in your driving. But let me know what you think of those solutions. That would be cool. And again, stick around for the after show where I will be addressing your comments after the outro of the video today. But now let's get to a story about a band I like, and I've always liked, and that's The Cure. The Cure. They're refusing to play in Ticketmaster's dynamic pricing schemes and combat resellers by making tickets non-transferable. Whoa! The band set the ticket pricing for each stop in their North American tour to keep the show accessible to fans, with some seats selling for as low as $20. However, fans who purchased their tickets through Ticketmaster's verified fan sale were hit with additional fees and charges that more than doubled the final price of the ticket. Whoa. In contrast, Drake and 21 Savage's tour is facing backlash from fans over the sky-high pricing of their pre-sale seats. Ticketmaster's practices are causing frustration for both artists and fans. So I've long had an issue with Ticketmaster. I think most people that go to concerts will feel the same way. But that's what happens when you're a monopoly, right? If you're a monopoly, you can do this kind of thing. And the real problem that happens with Ticketmaster is they make these exclusive deals with venues so that they're doing the ticketing for their venue, and part of those contracts are they're not allowed to use other ticket agencies and other strong-arm tactics like this. All seems very mafioso to me. I don't know how you take on Ticketmaster. It's like, how do you take on City Hall? When there's a monopoly, it's really damn hard. And I know that there are some good alternatives, but a lot of times a lot of artists actually make a lot of money off of Ticketmaster. So they may have some kind of, depending on all the deals that are made, they might be getting kickbacks from the fees for these venues. And so a lot of times, Ticketmaster is just kind of the fall guy for these fees because you don't know exactly where all the fees are going. Let's say you're doing there's $20 in fees. Well, the artists themselves could be getting a $5 kickback in those fees. And then the artist can turn around and say, yeah, Ticketmaster is really putting it to you guys, without the general public knowing what's going on there. That's why transparency is always better. It's always better to be more transparent, and I think that Ticketmaster is happy being the heel, right? Being the bad guy out front, to take all of the heat for all the extra fees, when in fact, some of those fees are going directly to the artists. I commend the Cure for trying to do something about this. I don't know what the solution is, but probably we need some more competition, and that could be started up by some popular bands. I bet some popular bands, if they wanted to, and who would want to do this? If you're a rock star, why would you want to start a ticketing venue? But with technology today, you don't need, it's all online. People are buying tickets through apps and things like that. I really think that now is an opportunity to break Ticketmaster by having some competition. I don't know. Who knows what happens if you try to compete with Ticketmaster? It could be the same as, trying to compete with the Clintons or whatever. Just bad things happen if you try to compete with them. I don't know. If I won Powerball, that might be a fun side project. I'd pay someone to come up with an alternative to Ticketmaster, but I haven't won Powerball yet, so not much I can do about it. But what do you think? You got any ideas? Let me know in the comments. All right, and lastly, Portland Trailblazers have unveiled a new mascot. It's called Douglas Fir. Okay? And Douglas Fir, if you don't know, a Douglas Fir FIR is a kind of tree that grows here in the Northwest. And this new mascot is Douglas Fir FUR because he's a Bigfoot. Okay? It's a modern take on the Bigfoot creature that roamed Memorial Coliseum back in the 80s. The team wanted to enhance its game day experience and community outreach, so they created a new character to accompany their existing mascot, Blaze the Trail Cat. It's always been kind of corny to me. The Blazers worked on an origin story for Douglas Fir, describing him as a hipster living in the hills of Forest Park, wearing a plaid shirt and beanie and enjoying vegan food and a cold brew. Blaze discovered Douglas Fir while exploring the forest, and they became fast friends. Douglas Fir wears a red and black plaid vest and red beanie featuring the Blazers pinwheel logo, and the team commissioned a life-size wooden carving of him for display at the Moda Center. Blazers hope that Douglas Fir will become an instant hit and a lasting part of the franchise. So I always like fun stuff. This is fun. Up here in the Northwest, we've got a lot of Bigfoot lore. So to have this guy, Dougie Fir, as the new Blazers mascot, I think it's just fun. It's just fun for the kids, fun for everybody involved. That was one of the things that I loved about the Seattle Supersonics when they were here. They had a mascot, what was it? Squatch, I think. I should have looked this up before. But the Seattle Supersonics had a Bigfoot guy, and he was fantastic. He would go out there and jump on trampolines and dunk the basketball, and that was so much fun. I really was hoping that they would adopt him when Seattle moved to Oklahoma City. But I guess that deal never worked out. Now we got our own Dougie fur. So that's kind of fun. Yeah, fun story. And I'm not sure, looking at the face of this Dougie fur, I think they could make it a little cooler, but whatever. It is what it is. I just wanted to bring you a fun, something fun at the end. And what do you think about Bigfoot? Do you have any thoughts on Bigfoot? I did a story a while back where some scientists believe that Bigfoot was actually a black bear, and people were seeing it because sometimes black bears stand on their hind legs. Perhaps. But now you can see Bigfoot at the Rose Garden, at the Moda Center for Trailblazer games, and that's kind of fun. I like that. That's all I have for you today. Remember, tomorrow is Fact Check Friday, and I will be answering your comments right after the outro. And everyone else, have a beautiful day. Peace. All right. Thanks, everyone, for being here. We got a comment over in Rumble. It's I3UTM is listening to the live stream. He's not able to comment in real time, he or she or they or whatever. Says, I'm at work, but France always has tensions. What about the U.S. tension, Keck? That is true. There's always tension in France, but I think it's really been turned up this week. I think who you don't want to mess with are French people that have worked their whole life, and then at the very end, when they're about to retire, you tell them, no, 2 more years. They're not putting up with that. And so we got a lot of tension around there. So thanks for commenting over on Rumble. Nice. Let's see. And over here on YouTube, lots of comments. Love it. The community in YouTube is really building up. That means a lot to me. Martin says that it is clippy. So I will have to go back and look at the analytics and the stream settings. I did make some adjustments to the bit rate and some other things to try to improve it. But apparently if it's clipping, now we have one more data point that I can try to make this show look better. So thank you for the feedback, Martin. I appreciate that. The future belongs to those who prepare for it, says Apothecary John. Miranda K says, here in Pacific Northwest, we're overdue for a super earthquake. But I don't want a super earthquake. We can be overdue, but we could also be overdue 100 years from now as well. Being well prepared engenders a certain peace mind, says Gullible Skeptic. I think so. If you are prepared, I know that when I'm prepared to do this show, I'm more at ease and I feel like I can do a better job. So I think all around, if you are prepared, you're more relaxed and you're probably better at decision making just by having that mindset. Eternity lasts much longer than this life. Very true, Natasha. Prepared to survive until I die. Love it, Tobias. Let's unpack. Okay. Let's see. Abolish retirement altogether. Oh, I don't know about that. I'm pro-retirement. I don't want to work till I'm dead. Certainly not. I don't share that opinion. If I understood correctly, often it's hard to often pick out sarcasm and nuance and things in texts. So everything is not literal in this. The hobbyist despot Macron, says Martin. Everything is falling apart nicely. Kim Iverson says banks invested in crypto are being targeted. That's all a push toward central bank digital currency. I don't think that this is a big grand scheme. I think it's one of those things that you never let a good crisis go to waste. So when a problem comes up, one of the things that you can say is, oh, well, we got this problem. How can we gain from it? Oh, okay, well, we can push this agenda and we can blame it on something. But I don't think the Silicon Valley Bank was done intentionally to go against crypto or to push a central bank digital currency. I certainly don't want central bank digital currency. I think that's big trouble. That's probably the end of our system if that happens. Telling people to insult people in a lame way. Why are they telling you to insult people? I think it's not insulting people. I think it's specifically in driving, flipping people off and that perhaps if you're driving and someone does this to you, it might have a little bit, it might be a little bit more persuasive than just yelling at them. So who knows? That I take it back. That hurt just now. That's funny. Just shout a pox upon you. Well, that is true. We can shout that. I sued to give thumbs up, and when driving as a teenager, until somebody taught me it was flipping them off. Okay. Now I just want to wave for every gesture while driving, just like the old hand signals. Okay. I do the finger under the dash or door window for a few years now. Oh, so Miranda is using my under the dash technique. I like it. I like it just so that I can get it out of my system. It's so dumb when you think about it, that actually raising your middle finger under the dash actually releases something, but it does. And again, if something works, just roll with it, just roll with it if it works. So what do you think? I think Robert Smith, that's the singer of The Cure, looks horrible in makeup at his age. Look, Robert Smith is never, I don't know, I always thought he was a good-looking guy, and then he would cake the powder on his face and, do his hair up really high. The one thing that I can attribute to Robert Smith of The Cure is he would always wear high tops, basketball shoes that were untied and, just like really, really, really loose. And at the time in the 80s, I never saw anyone else doing that. I kind of think he was on the forefront of wearing the untied basketball shoes. So that's my nod to him. But, we all can look however we want. Yeah, I don't think he looks good in his makeup today, but, I commend him for trying to put on a show and for putting out tickets for $20 in today's economy. I think that's awesome. I really applaud that. Got a friend who gave up muttering at drivers for Lent, but hand gestures were not part of the deal. That's a good thing to give up for Lent. I like that. The squatch may feel like they're being appropriated, but hopeful it's not so fragile. Yeah, Squatch, I think, was the name of the mascot for the Super Senators. Harry and the Hendersons was a good show. Never saw the show. I think was it a movie as well? Yeah. I think lots of Sasquatch sites are bears. I think probably many are bears, and many, we just hallucinate too. People do hallucinate. I have. I've seen things that I know aren't there, you know. So I get that. Well, I missed it this time. You'll stick in for the replay, says Erie Fairy. Very cool. Thank you all so much. And hey, tomorrow, if you wanted to try something, those people that get here for the start of the live show, just for tomorrow, let's try. What if you hit the like button, dun dun dun, before the show even starts? And maybe if the show starts and we had like 10 likes even before the show begins, maybe, who knows, maybe the algorithm would send out the show to more people. More people might see that this show is happening. So maybe we could try that tomorrow for Fact Check Friday. If you are watching the show live, if you can hit the like button before the show even starts, that would be super awesome. I will start on time, and I'll have a good Fact Check Friday for you. So I look forward to seeing you then. You all have a beautiful day, and until tomorrow, peace.